Hey, what's going on, guys? Stock market continues to go up while economy is declining. In this video, I will explain why this is the case, then we will take a deep look into Raoul Pal's and mine portfolios. Stock market is increasing. S&P 500 yesterday gained another 2.5% for the day despite all the economic damage. S&P 500 is almost in the positive territory year to date. So what is going on? Why is the stock market going up while the economy is going down? Does that make any sense? Well, in theory, it does not. But let me try to explain what is really going on behind the scenes. Before I answer that question, first, let's pull up the cover and see what is going on in our economy. Last week, we had additional 2 million people claim for unemployment benefits. It makes a total jobless claims nearly 43 million since this illness spread across the United States. I also found it very funny how new mainstream media does not really talk about this illness anymore, while they shifted all the attention on the current protest. As of the beginning of 2020, there were approximately 160 million people working in the United States. You do not have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out that unemployment rate dropped drastically in just a matter of 10 weeks. Actually, let's do the first grade math and figure it out what is the unemployment rate in percentage. 43 million divided by 160 million and we get 27% unemployment rate in the United States. Just to give you some comparison, in 2008 global financial crisis and housing bubble, unemployment rate peaked at 10% and during 1930s Great Depression unemployment rate peaked at 25%. Right now unemployment rate is 27%, so we can see the difference. GDP is also in double-digit losses, but the stock market is going up. If you look at this chart, we can clearly see that the money are floating out of the equity market, but market is going up. So how does that make any sense? Why money floating out but stock market is going up? Well, first and foremost, Fed printed trillions of dollars and announced they will buy treasuries and corporate debt, which essentially led to another buyback programs. Technology stocks aggressively buying back their own shares with literally free money from the Fed. If you look at this chart, FANG stocks are positive in the double digits year to date, while other 495 companies of S&P 500 are in the red territory year to date. So that is the main reason why stock market is going up while the economy is down. Also, we all know that the current time is uncertain. If the Fed solved the problem and the stock market will go up from here, or if we should anticipate much bigger drop since the economy is not in a good shape. Despite what happens in the market in the near future, it is important to position your portfolio from the downside and maximum gains from the upper side. Let's take a look at Raoul Pal current portfolio, then I will reveal my own portfolio.
Got it. So how are you positioned then, Raoul? If this is in your periphery on the horizon, what does your portfolio look like right now?
So at top-down macro level, my personal portfolio is 25% gold, 25% Bitcoin, 25% cash in the bank, and 25% trading opportunities.
And is that cash US dollars?
Yeah.
It is. You're 25% gold, 25% Bitcoin, 25% cash.
Yeah, and then within my trading opportunities, most of my bets are long bonds, long US dollars, and long gold miners, stuff like that. So it's very concentrated in these kind of themes. I'm not short equities yet, but I'm looking to start shorting the big indebted US companies,
right.
General Electrics and the AT&Ts and that kind of stuff.
Okay, now why such a massive bet on Bitcoin?
Because, and again, that's my liquid, available investment money, right? So that's not total net worth, because 25% total net worth is a lot, unless you happen to be very early and you've kept it all the way through, then some people end up with huge numbers like that. Bitcoin, it's very simple. The dollar standard is going to break the system. The dollar has eaten all of its competitors, and now it's going to eat itself by going up too high. There's almost no way of stopping it. And all the central banks have talked about it. They know it. and they know that they want to move to digital currencies and create a new way of moving currency around the system. It doesn't necessarily just involve the US at the center of it, the infrastructure at the center of it, and all the current market dynamics and structures that we have. There's a number of other things you can do when you move to that, is you can create these very efficient digital baskets. So like Libra, which is the Facebook idea. But anyway, we are moving towards a digital currency world. Bitcoin acts like the gold, the collateral, the personal reserve asset that everybody needs. It's kind of the truth in the digital world, while gold is the truth in the currency world. Doesn't necessarily make Bitcoin a currency, but it makes us extraordinarily valuable store of value. And also, as that entire space grows, as we move into decentralized finance, we move into tokenization, we move into the full digital realm, the Internet 3.0, well, the poster child, for at least for a while, is going to be Bitcoin. It can be Ethereum, it can be a bunch of other stuff as well, but really it's that. And if I look at the chart, always start with the chart looks like it's going $1 million. And I just can't see it any other way. Now, how long does that take? Probably 5 years. Find me a single other asset that's going to give you 100x asset. Not a share price, not a junior miner that's just that nobody. Find me an asset, an entire asset class that could be 100x. There isn't one. That's why the magnitude of opportunity with Bitcoin is like nothing I've ever seen before. And it's also that whole kind of vortex of people getting into this. They start with understanding a little bit. Then they don't trust it. Then they question themselves. Then they don't know. Then they start to learn. And once you learn, you realize the more and more and more you learn about it and the ecosystem, that it's basically blown your entire mind. And everyone becomes a complete groupie to it. And I've seen the greatest macro minds in the world, with the latest one being Paul Tudor Jones, who've gone, I get it. The opportunity set is bigger than anything else in the world. But let's go at a really simple level. We are going to move to a different financial system. We have to. That is commensurate with the modern age of the internet. We cannot pass money around. It takes me 4 days to get from Cayman to Canada. All of this stupid stuff that goes on when I can do it literally in a few seconds. We're living with legacy systems in terms of lending, who owes what to whom, custody, trust, all of these things that are going to change. Bitcoin is basically the share price of that.
Sure.
And it also has a tremendous store of value. So while the world is basically debasing fiat currency, Bitcoin, on the other hand, is hardening its currency, because the algorithm every few years reduces the supply of Bitcoin, which is the absolute opposite of all other asset classes. So it makes it extremely hard as an asset. And it's just about faith. And I think at $10,000 a Bitcoin and a market cap of 200 billion, we're pretty close to saying, okay, there's enough people that have faith and adoption in this. The next phase is, where does it go from here? And speaking to many of the big family offices, investment funds, everybody else, basically the entire world is short the upside of this. If Bitcoin goes up to 20,000, the next skeptic's going to go, Christ, okay, I get it, I need to get in. If it goes up to 50,000, half the endowments, half the family offices, all right, we're going to have to get in, because this is, the more it goes up in market cap terms, the more meaningful it is. Because it's not just a super spike that goes up and down like tulip bubble, right? It comes over time a growing adoption. And what it is, it's a growing adoption to a new entire system.
And 5 years is a very short timeline, in my view, for that kind of a gain. What does that world look like? What has to happen?
Bitcoin already is the best performing asset price in all best performing asset in all recorded history, right? So nothing has ever performed like this has.
Okay.
So it would be a slowdown of the rate of change of growth to say $1 million in 5 years.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
It would be a slowdown. We did about the same gain in 2017 alone.
So Raoul's portfolio is pretty simple and straightforward. 25% in gold, 25% in Bitcoin, 25% in cash, specifically US dollars, and another 25% in bonds and in long cash. He stays liquid. Raoul is waiting to deploy some of that cash once the right opportunity comes along. I like his portfolio, but I will not be long in bonds right now, and cash position is a bit too high for me. 25% in gold is great. If you look at this chart, gold performs very well in a time of uncertainty. In 2000's dot-com bubble, when stock market dropped by close to 50%, gold increased by 12%. The same happened in 2008 housing bubble. While stock market dropped by 56%, gold increased by 25%. So gold acts as a hedge in the portfolio. Another 25% is in Bitcoin. We cannot say that Bitcoin is a digital gold, and it also works as a hedge in the portfolio. In the recent economic downturn, it was proven to be the opposite. Stock market dropped by 35% while Bitcoin dropped by even more. However, Bitcoin is a great risk-on asset. In the bull market, Bitcoin outperforms another asset classes out there. It has been the best performing asset in the past decade. If the bull market continues, it's hard to find some other asset that can potentially outperform Bitcoin. Also, Raoul thinks that Bitcoin can increase 100x for the next 5 years. I think it's a bit aggressive. 100x for the next 5 years? If Bitcoin would do that, it would put Bitcoin from here at $1 million per BTC. My portfolio is a bit different but with similar asset classes. Currently, my biggest position is in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. It takes roughly 60% of my total portfolio. In my crypto portfolio, I have roughly 70% in Bitcoin and 30% in other cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum and other altcoins. Another 15% of my portfolio is in long stocks such as ExxonMobil, since I believe oil industry is very cyclical and it was a good opportunity to take advantage of the downside market. Then other stocks such as Square, Costco, and Spotify. 5% of my total portfolio is in gold, and another 20% of my portfolio is in liquid cash. Keep in mind, guys, my capital allocation isn't by design. It just when the right opportunity presents itself, I take action, and percentage of my portfolio slightly will shift. Let me know what is your portfolio looks like in the comment section below. I'm very interested to see what do you guys hold in the current market. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't.